Great, super. Thank you all. Wow, great to see 60 people from Canada to Tunisia to Germany to Prague. Great. Thank you for coming. Here is my 50 cents. So open science, it's one of the 3 topics of the winter school, and really the key question we want to answer: what does it have to do with your career or with any of the other topics that we're going to cover? So if I had to give you the quick and short and sweet in less than 5 minutes, I would put up these 3 reasons, but there are many more and many diverse reasons you should engage in openness when you do your research. And there are as many reasons as there are disciplines and approaches in research. But here we only have reduced time, and if we had to reduce it to a single word that we should all care about, irrelevant of what you see on the slides now, maybe this one is one of the single words that is most important. And again, I invite you to take reproducibility with a pinch of salt, depending on which discipline you come from. It will have different flavors, if you like, whether you're from the natural or the social sciences. But the essential idea here, we're trying to convince you of the essential benefit, is that by making more open, transparent, independently verifiable research environment and workflow, anybody can come retrace your conclusions, maybe reach the same results. And that is only good news in a world full of conspiracies and mistrust, public mistrust in science. It also has direct benefits for the impact of your career. So why would you look away from that? And in the actual full day training, if you like, what we'll try and convince you is that we need to move away from a workflow that probably looks like this, and the graduate school you came out of probably trained you to care about the bottom right corner of the slide instead of the value that you create at each step of your research life cycle. And this reality stems in the paper age of research, if you like, and it is framed and constrained by factors which are no longer, they just appear arbitrary in the digital age. So why not release the full value of your research workflow and life cycle and go from something that is as poor and bland as this to something that is probably more rich and diverse, and gives you more visibility and impact, and feeds into these high-level words to the left of the slide that you might have come across as you start your research career. The problem with all this, of course, is that when we show it to early career researchers, they might react like this, and rightly so. The actual steps, the actual exercises we're going to try to go throughout the day, they will hopefully tap into what Tom earlier had to say, and Petra, in terms of staying sane and also deploying open science to create your own story and your own research message. I'm going to have to invite you to the winter school to find out all the details. But just to quickly connect, here is a research paper, a peer-reviewed paper that is written by one of you, a group of early career researchers, in fact, from the psychology. And they tried to answer a little bit this question of how do you enrich your research environment without going completely crazy? And this is what they advise. Start at your own pace. You don't need to do everything 100% from the moment you walk away from the winter school, but pick the ideas, the concepts, the methods that immediately apply to your research workflow, and your research environment will immediately become more integrated and richer. Find your own community. Tom mentioned this. community is so important in all of the three topics throughout the winter school. There is so much support out there, and we sometimes that may sound a bit abstract. It's not. We don't have a immediate instinctive reaction to go out and look for a community. We're in trouble. But when we don't know how to do something new in our research workflow, community support, somebody else who's already done it or can tell us what not to do, because it's a waste of time or not as efficient, that is priceless. Engage in research advocacy, that's highly personal. That's what the youngsters of this paper suggest as one of the solutions. Be as open as possible. Be a little bit more open in your next project or your next paper than you were in your previous one, and you're on a good trajectory. You don't have to deploy everything all of the time. And do what you need to survive. I think this was already mentioned in the last 20 minutes. Avoid conflicts that will get you in trouble with your maybe skeptical supervisors or research teams. Do what you can to survive locally and enrich your research environment at the same time. While you wait for the actual winter school, if you can't wait, especially for the topic of open science, I've prepared and will share with you a resource. It is on Spotify. It is very open. I believe if you actually search the OEduverse Open Science and Soft Skills phrasing, you will fall on it. And it essentially is a compilation of recent, very credible, trustworthy sources of podcasts that cover a lot of the topics we're going to address in the Open Science Day, but also that very well connect to what Petra had to tell you, and occasionally we have the occasional podcast that connects to Tom's mental health training day. So with that, I'm looking forward to your questions later on.